Good morning, welcome to the JeepSolid garage. This is my daughter Sasha, and we have a little issue with Sully. So Sully was getting some new shoes. I took her to the tire store to get some new shoes put on, and then we found this. Well, on my drive here, that happened. So I get to look into that when I get home. Well, it's a good thing I'm here. So yeah, obviously we have a big coolant leak underneath. Hopefully it's just a hose or something. And I didn't say in the intro, but Sully is Sasha's 97. This is a 97 XJ. It's her first vehicle, so she's helping with all the repairs. Something good for her to know. Let's start by, go ahead and open the hood up. So obviously we have a coolant leak. One thing we're gonna have to watch out for is what is going on with Alonzo. Where is he? You wondering who Alonzo is? Well, when I was looking down in here, I found a little friend. Yes, it's a spider. So Alonzo lives right down in here. We'll find him. Maybe once it heats up, we'll find him. Okay, we found Alonzo. He is hiding right down here.
Black widow.
What?
It's a black widow.
Yep, there's Alonzo. Gotta figure out what to do with him. So I don't really want to be working around him. What do you think of Alonzo?
Don't like spiders, no.
You don't like him?
No.
There's Alonzo. Alright, so yeah, go ahead and start it up. We gotta warm it up to see where this leak is coming from. So we gotta get it hot, and hopefully it's just a radiator hose, but we will find out. Alright, I'm seeing a little bit of drippage.
You see that?
Oh, Alonzo came out.
Oh, he's still there. Oh
no. So it looks like we found where the dripping is coming from, and it's not good news. So looking down the top, right down there is the radiator hose. That's the return hose. And yeah, it's wet, but it's not cracked or dripping from right there. If we look underneath, obviously there's our dripping. We follow it up to the lower radiator hose. And it doesn't look like it's coming from the hose itself. You look for the spot where it's wet up highest. And if we follow the hose up where it attaches to the water pump, it's kind of hard to see, but the hose itself, like the connection to the water pump is okay, but the water pump is all crusty and corroded. There's a better view of the backside of the water pump, so you can see how it's been leaking right there slowly for quite a while, so I think we need to do the water pump and the hose. So that's where we're at. We got to get a water pump and a new hose. I'm going to order those real quick and I'll be right back. And by the magic of video editing, I'll have the parts.
Exactly.
Those parts will be linked in the description below what I get. So until next time, well, not until next time.
See you guys in a bit.
In just a second. And we're back! Sasha found the lower radiator hose, right?
Yes.
He's playing with that. We got our new water pump, so let's install this real quick. So, step one, we're gonna disconnect the negative battery cable. And we're gonna hit some of the bolts we're gonna be taking off with a little bit of PB blaster here, just to make it easier on us. Next, we're going to take this electric fan right here out. There's two screws on the top of it and a little electrical connector here. The two screws are 5/16, and then it'll just slip right out. This little tab here, you got to squeeze that guy down. It's like a three-step process. Squeeze that guy down, and then this should pull out. There we go. That pulls back. Then push down right here and it'll unplug. Super easy, huh? Then the fan will lift out of the way.
That's so hard to get out.
You gotta rustle it out of there. Okay, next let's take the belt off. So before we take the belt off though, we want to loosen the bolts on this pulley right here. So see these 4 bolts? We want to loosen those before we take the belt off. This will save you a little bit of hassle because trying to take this off after the belt is off, this will just spin on you. So do it now while the belt is offering a little bit of resistance, and you'll be able to get those bolts off a little bit easier. So go ahead and take those off. Okay, now this is the tensioner right here. This is a 15mm socket, goes on there. We're going to loosen this guy a little bit, and then on the back side of it right here, this is a little tensioner bolt, and this will take the tension off the belt. Although because we got the pulley off the water pump here already, the belt's pretty loose. We're gonna have to loosen this anyways to get the new pump back on, so we'll go ahead and disassemble that. So that's probably good. We're just loosening that. Now this bolt right here, go ahead and start backing that guy off. Okay, now go ahead and take that pulley off right there. That's the pulley to the water pump. Go ahead and set that off to the side. Now you can go ahead and take the belt off. We're gonna kind of pay attention to how the belt is routed around everything. If you need to draw a diagram or something to help yourself, that's fine. Yep, all the way up there. But you might have a diagram under your hood just like this. This is also a good time to check the condition of our belt, make sure it's not cracked or worn or needing replaced. Obviously this would be a good time to replace the belt if needed. So next we got to remove the power steering pump to get it out of the way. There's 2 bolts on this bracket right down here that have to come off. These 2 bolts right here. And then back behind, there's one little bolt going over to the engine that we got to take off to get this assembly out of the way, because this is attached to the water pump. And all these bolts are 1/2 inch. Ah! And we got these top 2 done, but there's one more little bolt hiding right down here that goes into the manifold. We got to get him out as well. And we're gonna just buzz this air box out of here real quick to give us a little more room. That'll give us some more room. So move this power steering pump kind of out of the way. Be careful of these hoses that we're not, you know, making them kink or anything. Like, just be kind of gentle with it. But also kind of keep it upright too, because we don't want it spilling out, okay? Okay. But just kind of lift it out of the way over where the air box was, give us a little room.
Oof, I'm trying to think of where to put it.
Alright, you're going to take those channel lock pliers. We're going to take this clamp off. So on the back side of it, there's 2 little tabs here. We're going to squeeze those together. It'll open it up and then just kind of slide it down the hose a bit. Try to break it loose.
Oh, I lost it.
So yeah, break that hose loose. We got our bucket underneath because it's going to spill out a bunch of coolant when that breaks loose. Okay, now is it moving?
No.
Move it. Okay, go down on the hose a little bit farther. Yeah, right there, and try just grabbing it and twisting it. Go up higher. Grab it and twist it, squeeze. There you go. Will it kind of slide down off of that water pump? As you're spinning it, try to pull it down. Okay, now this here is your water pump. So there's 4 bolts like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they're different lengths. Like, you can see how this one is longer than that one. So we got to keep track of where they're at. But those 4 bolts can come off now. Okay, we got all 4 bolts out, so now it should pull off. It might be kind of stuck. Got our bucket underneath to catch the last bit of water. And go ahead and pull that out. Oh wait, we got
to something.
Yeah, we forgot about the heater core hose. Let's take that off. Right here, one last little clamp. We gotta take this guy off. There we go. Okay, now it'll come on out. Yay! You removed a water pump. Good job.
Oh.
Drippy. So there you go. You got your old water pump and your new water pump. So you're dripping.
Oh, I am? Oh no.
We're actually going to take this line. This goes to the heater core. We're going to reuse this. We're going to unthread out of there and put this into the new one right here. The other thing we have to do is the gasket surface right here. We're going to take a wire brush, clean this all up to have this perfectly smooth and clean. and ready for our new gasket to go on there. Okay, sound like a plan?
Perfect.
Another thing we need to make sure we do is compare the new one to the old one and make sure that they're identical, which we know that they are, but just something to double check. And if you're using a wire wheel to clean off your gasket surface, be sure to wear a mask. There's still a little bit of coolant in there. It's gonna fling it around, aerosolize it. You don't wanna be breathing that in because you can end up with kidney failure, kidney issues. Trust me, you don't want that, wear a mask. And the reason I say that is because I have seen it firsthand, you know, with decades of experience in the hospital. Coolant antifreeze is not okay with your body. It will kill your kidneys. And yeah, as I was using that wire wheel, you know, it's aerosolizing, flinging coolant all around. So I was wearing goggles too, because I want to protect. I don't want to breathe it in. I don't want to get it in my eyes. I don't want any of that coolant in my body at all. Here I'm putting Teflon tape on our heater core hose. Get this seated back in here, and we want to make sure we get this hose pointed the exact same direction it was when we took it off. Obviously I got this heater core hose, or this tube, painted up all nice, looks good. Okay, our gasket surface is all shiny clean. Got it dried off, cleaned off with some brake cleaner as well, looks good. So we've got the surface all prepped, nice and clean, ready for the gasket. So now we've got our new gasket here and some red RTV gasket maker. This is high temp gasket maker. These products and the new water pump, I'll be sure to link all these in the description below, along with the Haynes repair manual. Really recommend that, it's a good manual. Sasha, what does this gasket look like?
Like a turtle.
It totally looks like a turtle. I want you to match up how that gasket goes on there. So line up the holes, just so you can kind of see how it fits on there, which direction it goes. All right, so this is the part you gotta be super careful with. So we're gonna put RTV, this is like red goo. We're actually gonna put it on both sides of this gasket and set it down in there real gentle, keeping the holes lined up. We don't wanna get RTV all gummed up in here around where this propeller is on the internal components. So we're gonna put a thin layer of RTV on the back side here and then stick it on, and then put a thin layer of RTV on this side, okay?
Perfect.
I have seen people do this without gasket maker. Haynes manual recommends doing it with gasket maker. My recommendation is do it with, because I want to do everything you can to avoid installing the new one and then having it drip afterwards. There's nothing worse than that.
Yeah.
So just a thin layer all the way around. Now she's taking her finger and smearing it around like frosting on a cake, right?
Yes.
So thin layer evenly all around. Now we gotta coat the other side. All right, RTV on new gasket. Now we can place it down into the engine. So we're making sure the gasket is lined up. Now go ahead and set it down in there, and you wanna get this tube back underneath and then gently set the whole thing up right where it belongs. And we've got one of the bolts in there that we're gonna use to help line it up. Now she's stuck it on, now she's getting those just finger tight. Now you're gonna just snug these up and kind of do them evenly, like tighten that one down a little bit, come up to this one, that one, and do them, you don't want them tight. We still want it kind of finger tight, and our goal is to tighten it down just until we see RTV kind of start to squeeze out right here.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Once you see a little bit of RTV starting to squeeze out the side, stop. But I want you to alternate which one you're tightening down. So go ahead and bury this one, well, don't bury it, but get it all the way down to the hub. And just keep going. Go, go, go. A little quicker, quicker. There you go. And just till it touches. Keep going, keep going, keep going.
Getting a little tighter.
There you go. And then skip up to this one. You just want to kind of alternate so you tighten them down evenly. So we've got them all snugged down just so the RTV is starting to squeeze out. Now we're going to let it dry for about an hour, and then we will torque them down. And while we're waiting for that RTV to cure, we are going to install our new lower radiator hose. You want to grab that?
This? Oh, this one. I thought you meant the one that I was like, that's attached to the car.
Well, we got to detach it. So get remember your fancy little pliers?
Oh, yeah.
We got to get that clamp off right down there. All right. Pinch that clamp and pull that hose off there.
Might need it at a bigger setting. And then what do I do?
And then shove it down the pipe. There you go. And to get these new hoses on, we're going to use a little WD-40. This will just make life a little easier. There you go, you can smear that around in there. Alright, new hose is in place. That looks great. And another one of my tips that I really like to give, label everything, keep everything organized. That'll save you a lot of headache down the road. That's the best tip I can probably give you. Next, we're gonna bolt the power steering pump back on its spot. Now that it's dry, we can go along and torque them all to 17 foot-pounds. Now that we have those torqued, we can get the pulley back onto the water pump. And because the pulley will try to spin on you as you're tightening it down, I've got a bar down there wedged up against the other bolts just to kind of hold it in place so I can tighten it down. It's a little bit of a pain, but you can get it done. All right, we got the belt back on there. And we're gonna drop the fan back in place. Should have tightened the belt before we put the fan back in, but we can still do it. We'll tighten it down here and then down this pulley right here, lock the nut there. All right, now we're gonna put the air box back in and hook up all the hoses. Alrighty, once we get everything else hooked up here, then we're gonna fill it up with coolant, but we wanna let that RTV actually cure for 24 hours before we fill it up with coolant, so we really don't want any leaks there. When we fill this up, we're gonna fill it up to the top, start the engine, warm it up, and keep topping this off with fluid until it's totally full, and then fill up the overflow as well, and that'll be it.
Perfect.
All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to check out our next video right up here. Or maybe I'll put it over my face. Right up here. Have a good day.
All right, bye guys.
I'm gonna get really close. Hey! There you go.